JKB back with another episode. Today on the show I'm reviewing the BITT-BOY, and for the most part I think that this device is completely pointless, but because I owe it to you guys and I'm kind of respectable out there and I give my honest opinion, I thought I'd give you my honest opinion in a way without, coming across like I'm attacking this company. I'm being honest when I say that I wanted this to be cool. I wanted this to be something I could recommend to people, but there's so many red flags that I just can't overlook. The BITT-BOY is designed around Nintendo's Game Boy, but much smaller in its design. So you're thinking it plays Game Boy games on the go. However, this has 300 built-in games that are actually NES games. And that's where the first red flag came out of nowhere. I thought, what? It's a Game Boy called the BITT-BOY, but it's not playing Game Boy games, it's playing NES games. That's all fine and dandy. Does it have Mario 3? Yes, it does. Bomberman, Double Dragon, cool, great. The display is bright and sharp, and I'm amazed by it. The audio is very crisp and super loud. There's a rechargeable battery that lasts around 3 hours. And of course, it can be connected to your TV using the supplied AV cable. I'm gonna let them pass on the fact that this is playing Famicom games. It's not playing Game Boy games. It says right on the back, 300 FC games preloaded. So that's fine. On the website, it doesn't say Game Boy. So it's just kind of a really shitty way to actually brand your product. It looks like a Game Boy, you think Game Boy. No, that's not what it is. It's FC. That's fine. But here's a problem. The case has a micro SD card slot on top of it. Okay, great. So you're saying I can put a micro SD card with ROMs in there and play it on the go. That would be spectacular because this thing doesn't feel like utter trash and the screen's spectacular. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put an SD card in here. I'm going to, expand my library. Well, that's a problem because inside of this little slot is nothing. No hardware to accept an actual SD card. It doesn't do anything. The card falls into the back of the case, and the only way to get it out is to take the case apart. So thanks for that. Thanks for simply, I'm going to assume here, because this is a review. This is just me assuming. I don't want to get sued, but where did this case actually come from, BITT-BOY? Did you just take it from somebody? Did you design it yourself? And if you did design it yourself, why are you so lazy? Why did you leave it in there with no actual hardware to support the card itself? So misleading and such a disappointment. I don't know where this case came from, but maybe you want to explain that. The D-pad itself feels very soft. You have to really press down for the buttons to make a connection. That's a major problem for me personally, considering that that's the only way to play this device. Now, I'm not going to say it's kind of like unplayable to play. However, it'll take some time for you to adjust to the feel of these buttons. Like I said, there's 300 games built into the system. Some of them are the classic NES games that you know and love. Mario 3 is here. You've got some Bomberman, some Double Dragon. The classics are here. Legend of Zelda is not here because you can't save the files here. There's no saving whatsoever built into the UI or the system itself, which is a disappointment. Once you start to go through the list, you realize that many of the games are knockoffs or homebrews. I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, like, where did these things come from? If I was somebody who created a homebrew, put it online for just people to have some fun with, and all of a sudden a company came along and put it on a product that they were actually charging for, I mean, that's such a weird space, isn't it? Like, you take a game that you kind of don't own and you change it up, and now it's like it's owned by the fans essentially, and there's lots of mods and homebrews out there that exist that are being sold, so maybe that's fine. The companies don't mind. But then another company comes along and takes it and puts it on their system. I'm not saying that's what happened here with this. I'm just saying, BITT-BOY, where did all the knockoffs and homebrews come from? Because some of them are horrible. Did you even check the list before you processed this system? Did you even look at it and say that's a good list of 300 games? I don't think they did. The system itself turns on instantly and loads you into a screen that displays each game title. Scrolling page by page can be a little frustrating. The UI is not very intuitive, and you'll see games like Super Mario 3 listed, and that's really cool. It runs perfectly. But you'll also see a game called Mario 14 listed and wonder, what the hell is that? Well, that's a knockoff of Mario mixed with what I believe to be sprites from the NES classic game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You'll be tossing ninja stars at classic enemies from Super Mario Bros. And it's strange to say this, but it's actually kind of fun to slash Koopa Troopa with a ninja sword. One of the other games that stood out to me to be kind of interesting to be included here is Harry Potter. I mean, magically, it was for the NES or it was for the Famicom. Who knew? So I loaded it up thinking, cool, I'm going to play a Harry Potter game on my Bittboy. But guess what? It doesn't even work. This is super frustrating, guys, to get a device like this and kind of fall for the idea that these guys love retro gaming so much that they made this cool device, 300 built-in games, $40, amazing screen, amazing audio. Then you realize, I don't even think they paid attention to what was going on the system themselves. So how can you say you love the culture of retro gaming and then supply us with this horse shit? As expected, hooking it up to a TV doesn't result in a very clear image. However, hooking it up to a classic tube TV is kind of cool. In closing, there's so much to be said about something like this. On one side of the coin, you can believe their nonsense and think that this is for the retro gamer out there that's over the age of 30 that just wants to reach back into the well of nostalgia and pull out something called the BITT-BOY, something that they can take on the bus, something they can play on their lunch break at McDonald's. Well, I gotta say, there's another side of the coin to the realists out there that might look at this and say, this is simply put a quick scheme to make a lot of money from the retro gaming community. Am I saying that in this review? No, I'm saying there's two possibilities here, and I don't know which one it is. That's, guess what, for you guys to make up. I'm so disappointed in things like this. It feels okay to play. The audio is great. The screen is spectacular. But there's so many glaring problems with this and some shady decisions that are going to make me give it a 5 out of 10. Who do I recommend it to? If you are like absolutely obsessed with Mario 3 or Bomberman or any of those, like the very small list of classics that you can get on here, you want to play them on the go for whatever reason, maybe you look into this device. It is kind of cool to see. It's kind of like, you know, like, but am I falling for it or am I falling for something that's actually good? That's up to you guys to decide. So thank you for watching 3KB and I'll see you in the next episode of JKB.